Kia ora, Deborah.
Kia ora, Mawera.
Thank you for doing this and being part of 20 Days of Awesome.
That's all right.
So tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm a musician, but I'm also a scientist, so I have that crossover and I enjoy that. Probably don't do enough with science here in the Bay of Plenty, but I'm very conscious of it around me all the time. My husband and I do a lot of performing, or acting up. I act up more than he does. And he's great. He cares a lot about the kids, you know, at the schools. He works hard to get the best out of them. And now that I've started teaching vocals, I feel the same way. It's really important to encourage young people to find their own voice. And as I teach them, I'm kind of learning myself, because I'm reiterating to me that that's what I need to do too. Yeah, because there's a lot to speak out about nowadays.
We had, you remember recently I got nominated for an award, and they sent me a questionnaire, and it made me think of you because it asked me to name a female mentor that I'd had in my growing up years, and Judy Bellingham was my voice coach.
Yes, yeah.
And immediately she came to mind, and what she gave me is something no one else could have given me, and those girls and boys that you're mentoring at the moment will be feeling exactly the same way.
I hope so.
Tremendous value that you're adding to their lives.
Yeah, as a performer, you've got to, when you're teaching, you've got to remind yourself it's not about you.
Yep.
You know, and so trying to get them to focus on what they want out of their music, and actually, you know, explaining, because modern day speech is so colloquial that we, you know, kids especially will slur words and stuff, and trying to educate them that they have to actually enunciate and make it a bit fancy. That's how I refer to it. So I say to them, imagine you were singing for your koro or your you know, somebody you respected, so you make it a bit more of an effort. So trying to give them analogies that they can identify with. So yeah,
You're doing a great job.
No, I'm trying.
That's really good.
Is try. Yeah.
Touching lives, say.
Yeah.
That's cool. Now, what do you love about the Whakatane district?
Well, coming from Dunedin, I love it. It doesn't really get that cold here. Even in winter, it's not really that cold. And when it rains, I love the heavy rain that you get, not the horrible misty crap that you have in Dunedin. You know, that goes on for 5 days with no let up. In summer, you have to light the fire, you know, but here it's great. And I love that it's a small town mentality. You can go for a walk and people say hello to you, and you get a smile, and that's lovely, because, you know, people seem to care more here than in a bigger town, I guess. I love how close we are to nature, and but what does distress me is how it's being used and utilised without good checks and balances and forethought. Forethought really is the thing that makes me angry about people who are supposedly our betters and know more, but actually don't. And either that or they choose not to, and that choosing not to is the worst thing, I think.
Short-term gains without thinking about the long-term implications.
Yes.
It's a bit sad, really.
Yeah, well, you don't do that at home, do you? You don't use all of the food, and then when your kids come to eat, you go, I'm sorry, I've eaten it. It's the same. That's the same on a different scale.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really neat. That's good. It's good to actually, people always focus on the positives, but it's actually good to have the real stuff too. And so thank you for that. I appreciate it a lot.
Well, I'm looking forward to, I am going away for a while, but when I come back, I'm looking forward to getting in touch and seeing the growth that I'm sure can happen here, because every summer it gets busier and busier here, and I just see people coming here as a destination because it's got a lot to offer.
But we have to make sure that our growth is sustainable and that we're not making too much of an environmental impact, don't we?
Yes.
Yep.
Well, just to do our little bit. Everyone has their bit to do.
That's right.
And to not do it is it's such a bad choice. Yeah. And it's such an easy choice to do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time. Thanks for being part of my little project.
You're welcome.
Glad to have you in our town.